Sony has been making phones for a while now. A few years back, its sharp-edged, business-looking smartphones were among the more popular Android devices, but recently the company seemed to lose a bit of its edge. The novel design of the Xperia 1 rebooted things for Sony, but soon after that, devices started to lose focus again. Today we're going to show you a phone that could bring Sony back in the game. This is the review of the Sony Xperia 10 Mark II. In a world ruled by notches and punch holes, the Xperia 10 Mark II stays true to what Sony calls omni-balance design, where you have small symmetrical bezels on the top and the bottom of the phone, but no notches or cutouts, so there is nothing to spoil the viewing experience on this gorgeous 6-inch OLED display. The 21:9 aspect ratio makes this phone quite narrow, and the top and bottom bezels are small enough to keep the phone's stylish looks. When you stop staring at that display and turn the Xperia 10 Mark II around, you'll find the triple camera system and an LED flash. Oh, by the way, both the front and the back of the phone use Gorilla Glass 6, adding a bit of extra toughness and protection to the overall stylish looks. The Xperia 10 Mark II is also very lightweight for its size. Actually, it weighs almost the same as a Galaxy S10e or an iPhone SE 2020. Part of the reason is the plastic mid-frame, but before you frown in disappointment, bear in mind that the build quality is very solid, nothing squeaks or bends. And it houses some good old friends from the recent past. You have a 3.5mm audio jack at the top and a capacitive fingerprint scanner on the right side of the phone that also doubles as a power button. Take out the SIM tray on the side and you'll notice a rubber ceiling, and yes, you've guessed it right. This phone is IP68 water and dust resistant. But let's get back to that display, which is the centerpiece of the Xperia 10 Mark II. It's a beautiful 6-inch OLED panel with a 1080p resolution, resulting in a sharp and crisp image. It's a big upgrade from the LCD screen on last year's Xperia 10. Brightness is excellent and colors stay very accurate in the original display mode. If you want some pop and saturation, the standard setting will get you covered. Watching videos on the Xperia 10 Mark II is also a real treat, and especially for full-featured movies that are typically shot in the same 21:9 aspect ratio as the screen, so you don't get any black bars on the sides. And because the phone is so lightweight, you can comfortably hold it with one hand without getting tired, perfect for Netflix. Taking a look under the hood, you see that Sony has opted for a mid-range chipset for the Xperia 10 Mark II. It's using the Snapdragon 665 coupled with 4GB of RAM and a generous 128GB of internal storage. And while the chipset raises some concerns about the capabilities of this phone to keep things smooth, in practice there is no stutter or lag when playing demanding games like PUBG or Minecraft. On the software side of things, the Xperia 10 Mark II comes with Android 10 out of the box. Surprisingly, Sony has kept things relatively simple and bloatware-free, which contributes to the snappiness of the phone in day-to-day use. There is a nifty little feature that quickly splits the tall screen to take advantage of the 21:9 ratio when working with two apps simultaneously. SideSense, the feature that gives you quick access to apps, is also back on this phone, but sadly it has not improved much. You can still adjust some settings to make it usable, but taps on the side often fail to register, and the phone is narrow enough to make SideSense a bit redundant. All in all, the OS is quite clean for a Sony device, and you'll find mostly Google stock apps, which is a great thing. The triple camera system on the back of the Xperia 10 Mark II consists of a fairly common combination of shooters. There is a main 12-megapixel wide-angle lens, an 8-megapixel telephoto camera with 2x optical zoom, and an 8-megapixel ultra-wide snapper. In good lighting conditions, the Xperia 10 Mark II produces crisp and detailed images. Colors seem accurate without added pop, and dynamic range is also good. There is some AI magic going on in the background as the camera app automatically detects scenes and conditions. Now speaking of Sony magic, tap on an object in the viewfinder and the focus will stay locked on it thanks to the unique object tracking system that Sony has borrowed from its camera department. And it all actually works impressively well. We should also mention that this trick works for both photos and videos, and it is especially useful in videos. To enable it, simply open the camera, go into settings and turn on the object tracking option. Keep in mind that it only works for 1080p video and not for 4K recordings. Night mode is also present here and it works wonders. Good news is that the phone detects when the conditions are too dark and automatically turns on night mode, but you can also manually turn it on if you feel like it. Rather than brightening up shots and adding noise, this feature seems to accentuate the highlights, resulting in more details resolved. There's definitely some image stitching going on, as with night mode on, you have to wait a few seconds before the result is ready, so it's kind of on a slow side. At the end of the day, the camera system on the Xperia 10 Mark II cannot quite rival the big guys and probably won't win you a Pulitzer in photography, but it's definitely decent enough for a budget phone and will get the job done. The 3600 mAh battery size of the Sony Xperia 10 Mark II doesn't inspire confidence with its pure size, given the large and bright screen, but our tests have shown that battery life is excellent actually. You can get a full day of heavy use on this phone easily and stretch it even further if you use it moderately. The OLED display technology and the mid-range Snapdragon 665 chipset definitely contribute to these numbers. And now we've come to the best part, the price. The Sony Xperia 10 Mark II is not available in the US at the moment, but pre-orders in Europe have already started and the asking price is 369 euros. The phone is expected stateside soon with a price tag of around $400. And for all the bells and whistles in this device, this price is a real bargain, but keep in mind that it has strong competition in the Google Pixel A series and the iPhone SE. If you want something unconventional though, the Xperia definitely delivers. And this wraps up our review of the Xperia 10 Mark II. Don't forget that you can see more images and details in our in-depth write-up that you can find linked in the description. To never miss any of our videos, subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't already. Thank you for watching, my name is Vic and I will see you in the next one.